Well, the war of words in West Asia, it is becoming more and more intense with every passing day. Iran has now issued a fresh warning to Bahrain after recent military development involving the American forces. In fact, a senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader, he warned Bahrain against crossing what Tehran calls its limits, saying that Iran could take much harsher decision if it is provoked. The warning comes after Iran claimed responsibility for targeting a U.S naval facility in Bahrain during its retaliation against American strikes. Though Bahrain strongly condemned the attack, calling them a violation of its sovereignty, while both Washington and Tehran they continued technical talks aimed at preventing a wider regional conflict. Well, the whole situation it highlights how fragile the Gulf region has really become. Small countries like Bahrain, they now find themselves caught between a much larger geopolitical rivalry. On one side, the U.S., which maintains a very major naval presence in Bahrain. But on the other side, you have Iran, which considers the growing American military presence near its borders a direct security challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the heated rhetoric, both the sides are still talking. Diplomatic negotiations continue in Doha. Military officials remain on high alert. Ships continue crossing the Gulf. And the entire world is hoping that diplomacy succeeds before any major military confrontation begins. Because, let's be honest, history has repeatedly shown that conflicts in the Gulf rarely remains limited to just one country here. Well, their impact spreads across global energy market, international shipping, and wider world economy. But yes, even as these geopolitical tensions continue, another major military development has raised serious question about America's most advanced fighter jet. Sometimes the biggest surprise in modern warfare, that's not what your enemy builds, but what your own military admits. Well, for years, the F-35 has been presented as one of the world's most advanced fighter jets, right? Stealth technology, advanced sensors, powerful radar, and cutting-edge battlefield capabilities. But now, the US military has kind of confirmed an extraordinary problem. According to reports, several newly delivered F-35 fighter aircrafts have been accepted without their next-generation radar system because of the production delays. And that's big. Instead of sophisticated radars here, the aircraft are reportedly carrying ballast weights simply to maintain balance until and unless the new radar becomes available to them. This does not mean that the aircrafts are useless though. However, it does not mean they cannot perform all the advanced combat missions that they were originally designed for. Here, military experts say that the delay highlights a lot of technical challenges involved in developing next-generation defense technology. Well, modern fighter aircrafts, they are no longer just planes. They are flying computers. Every radar, every sensor, every software update, every communication system, it must work together perfectly. Even a small delay in one component, it can affect the entire program. In the meantime, the US says that these aircraft will mainly be used for training until and unless the new radar systems are installed in the coming years. But still, let's be honest here, the development has sparked discussion among defense analysts across the globe. At a time when countries like China, Russia, Turkey, and several other European nations are rapidly modernizing their air defenses, well, every delay inside America's most advanced fighter program that receives global attention. And perhaps that is the biggest message from all of our tonight's stories. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it is climate change, whether it is global fraud, immigration debate, West Asia conflict, military technology, or shifting the international alliances, the world is definitely entering a new era where every headline is connected to another. One country's decision affects another country's economy, one regional conflict that impacts the global oil price. One military announcement, it changes strategic calculation across the continents.